Mistyal53 said, do you have any tips for game writing for someone new to it?
So when you say game writing, I assume you're talking about the game design document. Because narrative can be, a whole different thing, but it can also just be like, you just write the way that you want it to appear. But for game design document, if you're struggling to conceptualize systems or like struggling to like put mechanics on paper, the easiest way that I find to both articulate a system correctly and also make sure that other people looking at that document, because that's the most important thing a game design document needs to do, is give the other people in your team a greater understanding of what it is that you need to do, or at least, remind you later if you're a solo dev. So the easiest way to do that is to just write it like you would you're giving someone directions to get somewhere. So it'd be like, okay, the game starts, the player then goes down to new game, and then within the first 10 seconds, this is what they see. They spawn into the world and they're given a UI pop-up that tells them, hey, you need to go find such and such, right? And that stays on screen for like 10 seconds and then disappears. And then after that, the player needs to navigate the world, right? So you can do it in like a very distinct step-by-step process like that. And that will really help you articulate what it is that you need to actually make sure the players do. And the other part that you can focus on is make sure you refine at least 3 pillars of gameplay. And what I mean by that is you have your main core gameplay narrative, which is like, what is the main loop that you're trying to make sure the player does? Refine that, explain all the systems inside of that, and then do that step-by-step stuff. So when the player interacts with like a disguise system, how should the player interact with that on a step-by-step basis, right? And if you can do that, if you can articulate to that granular level a mechanic, you'll eventually get to the point where you can start writing these systems from another perspective, which is essentially what you need to do. And then after that, don't be afraid to throw things away if they're not working in a prototype. If they're not working in a prototype, you'll need to refine it before you get into the actual bread and butter of making the game. Hope that helps.